Good morning. My name is Kate, and I just wanted to, in my reading this morning, again, I told you I'm reading the same book again because it was so good, but this is now the second time that I've read this sentence, and to me, it was so important that, or it hit me a certain way that I thought maybe it would hit you guys a certain way as well. So here's the sentence. It says, I knew the key to all physical, spiritual, relational, and mental health is belonging. I knew that being lonely was physically more damage than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So everybody knows how terrible smoking cigarettes is. And for all of you that do smoke, whether it's vaping or cigarettes or whatever, I pray for you every day that God will give you the strength and courage not to continue with that habit, because we all know that it's so dangerous to your health. However, people do all types of dangerous things for their health, and it doesn't have to be smoking. So, but I do recognize that, as far as what people say about smoking, quitting smoking, that it seems to be very difficult to stop that habit since it's very addictive. So anyways, the reason that sentence I think hits me so hard is, I think I started this YouTube videos creation, content creation, as a way for me to outlet and express some of my feelings, having gone through some difficult things over the last couple of years. So one of the things that I realize now, 2 years later, it is literally almost 2 years later, to the day, I think next week will actually be 2 years later, is that the friends and the community that you have around you, can help you really get through whatever it is that you're going through. So if you don't have that, I would highly recommend, getting yourself out there, socialize. I'm an introvert. I do not, I don't make friends and develop deep relationships with friends, on a regular basis, just because that's who I am. I prefer to be alone, introverted, self-reflective, those types of things. I'm comforted sometimes by my alone time, and I don't mind being alone and being by myself. I like myself as a person. So, but I will say that the challenging time, not only of my divorce and having to deal with everything that's different after a divorce when you've been married for a long time, and I'm sure that this can apply to divorce, death of a spouse or a partner or anything like that. A big change, a big chasm in your life that happens when something that big happens. But after being together for 19 years, my biggest thing with the separation and divorce was the losing of that friendship that you have with your significant other. And so that was very difficult and very challenging for me to wrestle with the fact that, my best friend for the last 19 years is no longer my best friend. However, I did have, some friends around me that kind of lifted me up through the whole thing. So my church was praying for me, my friends were praying for me, and then I did have friends that I could call at any hour of the night, and they would get up and meet me and do whatever it is that I needed to do to help me feel better. Now, I never called anybody at 2 in the morning because I'm not up at 2 in the morning. However, my girlfriends walked with me at all hours of the day and the evening. They went out and they listened to me, and they just sat there and listened, were super supportive. And, I had one girlfriend, and I say girlfriends, right? But we were friends with the males and females of these relationships, right? These are married couples. We've been friends with them for over 10 years. And we, as a couple, were friends with them for over 10 years. So we had long-standing relationships with these people, and we did do life with these people. We knew what was going on with each other's children. We knew what was going on sometimes in their marriages, the challenges that they had. So we were doing life with these people. And one of the couples, they loved my ex-husband, as much as they loved me, right? We were couples. We were not individual people. We were, two parts of the same person as a married couple. And so I know that after the separation and the divorce, that it was very difficult for the male counterpart of that relationship to not have that relationship with my ex-husband. And even still, they loved me really well during that separation time at basketball games, right? I constantly say our sons all played basketball. And so during the high school games of that first year of the separation, my ex-husband had already gotten into another relationship and started bringing that person to the basketball games. And he had checked with me first, and I told him that I was okay with it since he had already moved on. Like, there's nothing for me to do, right? So anyways, I was not prepared for how challenging that was for me to have to deal with that on a very, very regular basis. High school basketball for varsity teams is, 2 to 3 at least games a week, and home and away, so there's a little bit of travel involved in that. But anyways, that family, that couple, they sat with me and held me up that entire first year. And honestly, I don't know that I would have made it through those games. I don't know that that challenge of having to see that, experience that, feel it for my son at the same time, have his friends witness that. And I'm not saying that my ex-husband was wrong for doing that or anything like that. I'm just saying when you witness those kind of things, when you have to live through those kind of things, and it's a grown-up thing, right? Like, life changes and you have to move on from that. But the support that I got from my friends, and they never said a word. They didn't talk bad about him. They were just there for me, right? So they sat next to me, and I didn't need them to hold my hand or anything. But had I needed that, that's what they would have provided me for. And so the only reason that I bring this up is because those life changes, those big traumatic events that happen in people's life, if you don't have company around you that loves you for who you are, that will support you through those things, I recommend you going out and finding it. I'm an introvert, so it's not easy for me to make relationships. I would say probably my ex-husband started and developed most of those relationships, those couple relationships for us. And it just so happened to be the ones that stuck were the people that we were most in tune with. So we met them through sports, through our children's sports teams, but I have met several good people through my church community. And those friends, the women of those couples and their husbands still are really good friends to me to this day. So life changes, and some of those friendships probably, after my son graduates, probably will wane a little bit. And I think that that's okay too. There's a couple that definitely won't. They will be lifelong friendships for sure. And the other people I will still love and care for as well. It's just that our life will change, and our the ways that we go will be different, So yeah, I think you have to be understanding and accepting of that too. There's nothing wrong with you if really good friendships that you've had, fall to the wayside due to changing of life and, the next seasons. So go out there and find some friends and actually be, in order to have those friends, you also have to reciprocate and be those friends back. So put the effort into developing those friendships. Go out and find them. And, I think that no matter what it is that you're going through, friendships can really hold you through, and if I personally don't have family close to me, besides my children, obviously, but they're not the appropriate friends that you need during a time of transition in a marriage. So go out and find your friends and let someone else be there for you, and then you also be there for them when they need it, right? Because everybody needs it. There's, it doesn't have to be a big, huge trauma thing for someone to need to talk or just to have you listen. So anyways, like I said, that book is fantastic. Own Your Past, Change Your Future by Dr. John Deloney. I would highly recommend it for anybody that's going through challenging times, or for anybody that's buried the challenging times and then find themselves in a situation where maybe you're not being so good to yourself. Like me, for instance, I'm not being so good to myself in the way that I eat and treat my body. So I am working on that, and I'm doing daily things to become better at that. So I hope that you guys also can develop some new habits. It's a new year, so I'm really looking forward to that. This year, I feel so good this year. Even with my knee injury, I still feel really, really good. I have a positive outlook in 2025, which I have not had for the last 2 years. So I hope you guys have a beautiful and blessed day, and I hope God gives you enough grace to face those traumas in your life and to give you closure and peace and ways to move on from that. Have a great day. Talk to you next time.